Hello everyone, I'm Tara with AnneMarie. This is a card depicting a scene of a man carrying 5 of 7 swords. He's quietly sneaking away from the 2 swords that's planted in the ground behind him. The man is stealing the swords in a brightly dressed but mismatched outfit. He's wearing a red fez. Now this is traditionally a sign of an oppressor or a bully, and it matches his fur-lined boots. The colour shows that he is acting and thinking from a position of passion. He feels his views as well as his actions, and he feels his views as well as his actions being important. He will believe that he knows what is best and acts with that perceived authority. So he may be a tad self-serving with a touch of luxury. Look at that fur trim on his boots, and look at it around the hat. And he's looking as if he is in a place where he's looking out for his own interests. His blue tights show a need for communication through his actions, yet his tunic is covered in tiny dots or squares, showing someone who's independent, showy, and with firm beliefs about how things should be. In the original image shown here, his drab sort of tunic with slightly darker circles gives him an element of faith in his actions. And it's a kind of trusting colour that can point to his actions, but his actions could all be for show. Whichever the two, it certainly looks as if he is looking out for his own sincere opportunities, just for him. So others place this tunic as orange with darker orange, and that's the one that we're looking at. And this shows that he is slightly more fierce in his energy. So it depends on your deck. But in this one, we've got the fact that he's a bit of an extrovert in his energy. And he's got a white undershirt. If you look closely to his body, that represents the fact that he totally believes in his own actions. I'm Tara with AnneMarie, and there is a strategy to learning tarot that's often overlooked. With my system that I've created, I'm focusing on card pairings and a unique spread, which gives you much more profound readings. So you're in the right place if you want to improve your tarot practice. My Learn One Tarot card series kicks off tonight with the 7 of Swords. If you want to know more, go and check out the complete mini courses on my website, tarotwithanemarie.com. Now his overall appearance shows that he's got opinions and he's optimistic and daring. His bright clothes and the lack of matching shows someone that's easy to see, which is not what you'd really expect from this sneaky body language that we are seeing in our figure. So this can show him to be a bit of a fool, throwing caution to the wind and being an opportunist, or even someone that's sneaky and hiding in plain sight. So taking the swords, he might believe it's best for everyone, yet he removes the chance for others to have their say or defend their position. He might be a thief taking those swords simply because he can, or he's seeking that power by underhand means. Alternatively, he could be kind, yet reactive, impulsive, removing maybe some dangerous ideas from the camp. Now, I wonder if anyone knows why we're saying dangerous ideas. If we look, number 1, we've got a camp in the background. Number 2, swords are all about thoughts. So it may be symbolic for taking away some dangerous thinking or ideas away from that scene of the camp. Please ask questions if that's what you want to do. If we look, he's not dressed as a soldier, but as a commoner. He could be a common thief, an opportunist, a passerby, teaching people a lesson. You left them here, serves you right. Look what happens when you do that. I'm teaching you a lesson. Or someone who's seeking to even out the odds as he enters the enemy's camp, which of course is quite a dangerous undertaking. He's not dressed discreetly though, so his fraud takes place while everything is quiet. And in the distance, we can see between his legs, there's another camp in front of a hill. You see that? The ones to the right. If you look very carefully, you'll see it. So he could be from this other encampment, a soldier wearing flashy plain clothes, or someone that's employed to interrupt and be a decoy and disarm so that the battle could be won more easily. Just as quickly as he can get from camp to camp, again, he's going unchallenged, isn't he? As if he's trusted. So he's disarming, and therefore his comrades don't notice. He's tiptoeing away from the tents, looking behind him to ensure he's not been seen or heard as he leaves the army camp. The smile or the smirk on his face shows he's happy with his haul. Don't be overwhelmed by this tutorial. This is what you need to know and what you might find you want to know in bits, so you can always go on and on. So here it is for you, for those of you that want to grow and get as much out of tarot as is possible. However, do not measure yourself on learning all of the meanings or the feelings or using your intuition. Just make some really basic, simple steps to get to know that card. He looks contented, having taken the swords and gotten away with it. So now he can control the outcome of any perceived hostilities or trouble. His eyes are closed, so he might be dreaming about his victory and the haul that he has recovered and the message that it sends out. In the original Seven of Swords, Pamela Collins Smith gave the thief some really beautiful white curls and outlined it in black. In our more modern image that I'm showing you, it shows our figure to have black and white hair, and that just means that we've got firm beliefs and we've got fairness about right and wrong. So the duality, black and white. Sometimes with white hair, it can also represent wisdom, age, and experience. Now, excuse me, I'm going to have a sip of water. Our thief, if that's what he is, his motives may not be all they appear to be at the face value, and they may stem from direct or balanced thinking. Might even be sincerity, maturity, diplomacy, because if he feels he's going to take away what someone else can do harm with, he might actually be thinking along those lines. We don't know, do we? This may still serve, rightly or wrongly, it could benefit the long-term situation. In the distance, there is a small group of soldiers. They're discussing and eating and drinking, and they're relaxed. They've got the faith that everything's fine, but their guard is down, so they've not noticed. So the small army symbolizes aggression, forced actions, attitudes and verbal attacks, which can be undermined. And this is our thief distracting from what it is he's trying to teach them. So there are two camps present in this image, and that is sort of them and us. Ours, theirs, me, you, mine, yours. It's a lot of colliding of opposites. This scene of this yellow sky can actually appear in another card, which is the Three of Wands. And it can show that this is dawn or dusk, most likely sunrise. So if it's dawn, the man's actions are with thought for what is to come. As for others in the cards, preparing the day for their campfires. Yet those by the fire could show celebration after the day's battle. I'm sorry if you can hear the rain. My apologies, there's not much I can do. Flat studio roof, slightly at an angle, but there you go. So, in any case, the campers are not on the lookout for traitors in their midst. And so the grey smoke that comes sort of in the background there is obscuring what's going on and clouding everything in their eye line. Those brightly coloured tents with their patterns and doors open are inviting, and they are tempting loss as the soldiers are very overconfident. So the multicoloured tents signal multiple opportunities and different viewpoints. They're also put on a good show by displaying the colours to express the opinions and beliefs to all who can see them. Tents represent a temporary situation, a battle of wits, a war of belief, and a bigger point of view, and the most vital sort of opinion. So the man's taking 5 of the 7 swords, and within the card we can see the 2, 3, and 5 of swords. He's left the 2 swords behind to communicate the need for a stalemate, to call a truce, just like the 2 of swords, and agree to disagree, because the 2 represents the number of compromise and balance. One of these 2 swords is higher than the other, suggesting that the one view, his, or maybe the one promoted by his actions, is superior to the other. Remember, swords are about our thoughts and our communication and how the mind is working. So the 5 that he is taking show that he believes his own viewpoint, and he believes he is more and better informed to have his opinions, to overpower the others. 5 is the number of communication, intellect and analysis. He holds the 5 swords in 2 lots. So there are 2 on his right shoulder, representing his need not to face an emotional situation head on. And he turns his head away from them. So the other 3 are on his left shoulder, showing the logic of his actions. Here, he might be trying to diffuse pain, especially with the 2 swords left behind, or he might be causing it. And he's smiling, looking at the other 3, showing he feels victory in the situation. Sorry, my love. Somebody's saying you can hardly hear me. That's the rain. I've got a microphone here turned fully on. Tell you what I'll do. Thanks for letting me know. Thank you so much for letting me know, Salamus. Yeah, it's so low you can barely hear me. The rain. Any better? Yeah, we'll do that. It's not something I like to do, but if you can't hear me, there's not much point, is there? Thank you for that. really appreciate somebody letting me know it's not, you're not able to hear me. So with the number 3 representing creation, thanks very much, darling. Thank you. And you're welcome. Nice to see you. So the number 3 is representing creation, and it's brought a new dynamic to the developing battle. The hilt of the middle sword is at an angle, so the new dynamic can give a new perspective and a really good, literal, new view, a new angle, a new approach, a way of dealing with the situation, or a new viewpoint that may be presented by others. Brilliant. So by taking the swords, he's armed himself with his opponent's weapons and stolen their thunder, their tactics and their ideas. So this is preventing them from attacking him, and he's evened out the odds. Yeah, let me know if it's too loud, if the rain stops equally. I really would much rather know rather than not know, so please feel free. Really do appreciate people letting me know that. He's left the remaining 2 swords with the enemy to create a result that's in his favour. So he's diffusing potential danger to himself or others, and it's a very shrewd way to actually get his words and actions and mind games and psychological manoeuvring into play. Remember, this is a difficult card. All that I'm saying, really, it's about somebody kind of taking an opportunity, playing a few games, being really sneaky, going through the back door, as it were, in life, and seeing there's a chance to actually, that door's open, I can sneak right in there. That'll teach them. So that's something that I'm actually saying, keep it simple. But this is the much more nuanced way to understand what's really behind what's going on, or may not be going on with this card, and I'll talk to you about that in a moment. So the blame within this card is often placed at that thief's feet, because we see him as stealing or sneaking about. Yet he could also be doing a U-turn, moving, hiding, rechanging the swords to those that would hurt him, or even taking back what belongs to him. Those in the camp might not be victims, but they may be those that want to hurt. Again, this is a card where you can be seen to be any player. Sometimes not everything is what it seems. Now, the value in numerology of this card is number 7, which is number of spiritual growth, wisdom, and endurance. An easy way to look at this card is it's a time to change tactics, and that opportunity is being presented. It's about diffusing situations and being diplomatic. Bite your tongue if you have to, and don't rise to the bait. So we've got to stay away from all that's going on around and stay focused on keeping things calm. It's a time for your intellectual part to act, not the emotional. It's about staying alert to the actions and words of others. And, the 7 of Swords tells us to approach problems in an intellectual way. So I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and while I do, I'm hoping this will play all right. Some key words on there for you. Hi Zoe, how are you? Are you all right, my darling? Yay! That's a beautiful picture of you. Love that. Absolutely love that. What do we have? Where was I? So the 7 of Swords tells us to approach our problems logically and intellectually in an analytical way. And that might involve changing tactics and doing and saying things that you do not feel comfortable with, just to keep peace in times of trouble. Diplomacy may be needed. It can also show us that it might be wiser to research your enemy or your problem so you know what you're dealing with. You know that statement? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So you might need to diffuse a situation with tact or biting your tongue to even out and avoid issues. Even if it makes you feel uneasy or uncomfortable. Oh, bless you, Zoe. She's asking how everyone is. We are well. We are well. I don't know. Passionate Saji said she is. Carla said she is. Tony said he is. And yeah, I'm good too. I think it's a lovely full moon last night. Felt very powerful. Love feeling that we can actually go on and feel satisfied that the actions we plan to do, we can get done. That's all I'm going to say. That's why I liked it so much. I could feel it. It's like I've got the energy. Good. Fabulous. How lovely of you. Thank you very much. It's lovely. There's so much to it. I know sometimes people go, oh, that's a card of ducking and diving. It is. But there's a lot of things going on. And swords is all to do with how we're thinking, how we're communicating with ourselves. And there's a little bit more to this. I hope that you are able to follow along. I know that you're watching on Twitch, Selma's Tea Time readings. Sometimes it's hard for Twitch to always find me. I would say it might be a good idea at some point to follow me on YouTube and it's not about subscriptions. Who gets anything for subscriptions these days? I've been there for years. It doesn't matter one way or another. But it's a library where you can find, it's an incredible search engine, isn't it, for the capacity to be able to find knowledge that you're looking for. So there's a lot of playlists in there, there's a lot of videos in there. And yeah, I teach tarot in the courses and everybody asks me, could I do it digitally? And that's what we've done on my website, which is where you can learn even more. I'm here to give that information because it needs sharing, and I think that you can look for years and only find out one or two meanings and feel a bit lost. And because I used to run a platform for tarot readers and psychics and mediums, I knew when they were going, gosh, I just didn't have enough substance and I'm all right until I get to this card, or what do you say about that? And that's what I'm here for. I've done it for years, supporting other people, and people have supported me. This supports the courses, as it were. It's lovely to have you, and thank you so much for your comment. I really do appreciate feedback, because then I know that I'm doing the right thing by you and that people want it. I used to want it. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, just join us on there, and then you know that you are in a place. No, not at all. Not at all. Absolutely happy to share. That's what it's all about. You've got something that's valuable, isn't it? And it's about that support. And that's the biggest thing I heard was there is no support. And I put a blog on the website today that I would say, read it. Hey, Under has probably done that for me. He said he'd pop it on. He was very busy yesterday, so if it's not on today, look for it tomorrow. And it's all about whether you're feeling that imposter syndrome as a tarot reader. So there's a few tips on there that I really hope will help you. And you know that I've got a birth chart calculator on there for free. I'm giving you as much on the videos here, but also working on trying to get it onto podcasts so that other people can find us. Why? Sharing that knowledge. Yeah, I get paid for what I do, but it doesn't mean I can't actually enjoy turning around and providing courses and saying, look, they're all, you can do that in your own time. They're mini courses. You can look at it when you want to. But I know that people actually want that little bit of me, and I can't be there. I sit in a group. We can't all get together around a table, can we? So next best thing is to come on here and actually give you a really in-depth tutorial. We always do one card on Thursdays, folks, and on Tuesdays we show you the card we're studying. So next Tuesday we'll be looking at Seven of Swords again, but this time how to combine it and put it together with Major Arcana card, which is my signature method of how it's a game changer to suddenly go, got it, I know what this is saying. And there's a million things it can be saying, but it will help you go, that plus that makes that, and I get that. And another time, you will have a million different meanings for it. But the thing is, you're on your way. You're starting to, shall we say, riff off of that. It's like jamming, isn't it? Somebody goes, pump on that. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, bless you. I love the chats. Sometimes people are working and listening, so they can't type, they can't ask, or they're a bit worried about, oh, shall I interrupt her? I don't know whether I should. I know that feeling. I'm in a class in astrology and I think, I want to ask that, but he's mid-flow. Interrupt, I will come to you. Type, you're not interrupting. Type your message by all means, and when I've got a moment to just look over, that's what it's about. Coming on and learning. We all help each other. I don't know everything. I'm no expert, but I've got a lot of experience. And if I can actually bring that to good use, isn't that what it's all about? And if I can't, someone here probably can. That's what it's all about. This card can leave us feeling quite guilty or worried due to its secrecy and its underhandedness in the actions of what it's showing us. Sometimes, as I said to you, you've got to go behind people's backs to achieve something. And we go, oh no, I'll never do that. Sometimes you have to. It's difficult. And it's one of those things where we feel, hold on a minute, I don't want to be that. But sometimes there is a need to actually, I'm not advocating go thieving, not at all. But this card is saying playing mind games comes with its risks. So it's about staying focused. But what this card is about is sometimes you've got to take away. If somebody's got a weapon, you've got to sneak in and take it away from them before they do any harm. Get my point? Or let's look at it that there is an opportunity when you want to meet. I always think of this card as this. It's just one of those things that sneak in the back door. Someone left the door open and you needed to sneak into that hotel to where your favourite sort of celebrity is, just to turn around and gasp at being able to see them off stage and in normal surroundings. And you're not going to do anything. Of course, you are a security risk, but wow, you are able to go, I saw my hero, that celebrity, now I can tiptoe away. That is what I mean. Or sometimes you've got to push yourself forwards and go, if you can't do it, I will. That is what we're talking about some of the time. There's many different meanings to this. It's also a card where we can definitely be earwigging and overhearing things that maybe we shouldn't. And maybe because we're earwigging and perhaps in a place that we've no business being, as I said, the celebrity, oh gosh, what they're saying. And you go, guess what they said? Well, we didn't hear it all. Maybe it's misinterpreted. Be careful. Conversations. Why are we talking about conversations? Because it's swords. And it's all about how the mind's working. Conversations might start to gather information or reactions rather than out of true friendships. Absolutely. Being strategic. Gotta be smart cookie with this one. Gotta nip in there. Sometimes it's doing U-turn. This is what I'm doing. I'm not doing that now. I'm not doing this. People see it as a card of cheating. It can be. But don't always just jump for that one meaning because you get a bit stuck. It's complex, but I've got more to say on this. So, opinions or truths? I'm going to return my microphone. Can you believe it? My hand's aching just holding up. Sorry. It's a magnet here. Oops. Are we rain stopped and I'm not too loud? Yeah, somebody let me know. Give me a moment, won't it? Fabulous. Thank you, my darling. All right, I should remember that. I'm trying to remember so many things and I've got all my controls in front of me. This is a time where opinions and truths are being tested or used against us. Remember that. That might be to satisfy someone else's need for control over you, or over the information you've got, or over your power. Oh, brilliant. Thanks ever so much. Perfect. That's what I wanted to know. This sounds good. Good. Yep. It was like with the rain, we just needed to make sure. That happened before and I'd just completely forgotten. Everyone said, oh, why didn't you move that microphone earlier? So sorry, folks. I wasn't thinking. Concentrating on what I want to tell you. So it's about being aware of what's happening within a situation. It's one of those cards that it's not really, it looks like a baddie, and we can be judgmental, can't we? But be wary of the subject at hand if it's not you. And views and beliefs will not always be apparent. And if we're not careful, other people's words can disarm you and cause you vulnerability or damage your reputation in certain situations. Because remember that if we are that figure, we're in the enemy's territory or in the lion's den. So we've got to be mentally on the ball and agile. You might even need to zip it and stay silent to resolve your issue. So this card's warning against impulsive behaviour in any way. So careful and forward planning should always be implemented to avoid the circumstances of someone else getting the better of us. And if you want to act alone with an issue, this card suggests it would be beneficial. I love the sound of raining, of it raining. I love the sound of raining. I love the sound of rain too. Yes, I'm copying you, aren't I? Me too. The Seven of Swords is about strategies, initiatives, plotting, planning. And some keywords are resourcefulness, logic, reason, adaptability, flexibility, strategies, mind games, tactics. Tactics is a good one. Daring behaviour, sometimes danger. Courage, taking a risk, relying on your wits, new approaches. A good one is beating the enemy at their own game, running away, making a great escape, or getting away with it. And also, this is a card of be careful, don't be clumsy. Sometimes we look at him, he's not looking where he's going. Acting without a conscience, being sneaky, underhand, undercover maybe, self-reliant, sneakiness, thief, deceit, lies, the one that everyone comes to straight away. So I kept you waiting for that one. Or there's an enemy in the camp. So it's a tricky card. All of sevens in tarot is don't give up, find a way, overcome the challenges. That's what seven is. But this is telling you a theme. Use your mind and your wits to escape problems and situations. Sometimes you have to devise a complete new approach to a problem. And so it can have lots of negative and nasty associations when it comes up. And just one of those things that makes us go, hang on a minute. He looks really smug, like that fellow in the Five of Swords. That sneaky look and that unlawfulness in his behaviour. And that really is to warn us that it looks like he's up to no good. But can you trust him? We don't know. We must remember that, and here it comes. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely, to the swords in general. most definitely. It's all about the mind, the communication, and the influences of communication coming in from others. It's about our thought process and how we have to sometimes go with a different way, different strategy. And of course, you're right, in swords in general, we have to actually use this and what we've heard and what we've learned and how we're going to apply it. This is the big one I wanted to speak to you all about, which is we've got to remember that the Seven of Swords is another stage card. Maybe this entire thing could be deceiving. Do you see that? If you look behind the figure, you can see two lines at the bottom, just behind his feet. And that is stage card. It's like bringing down the props, as in on the stage, to set the scene, so the whole thing could be a bit of an act. So we don't really know. That's there for us. Just why do we get stage cards? There's many different sort of schools of thought on that, but it's like, basically, don't judge because all may not be what it seems. So therefore, the first impression that you get might be different from the correct one. So it's a complex card, isn't it? No wonder people say, oh, I think this person's telling lies, I think they're sneaky, avoid it, let's move it. Because we don't like it. We go, but really, sometimes we've got to think outside the box. And that's another good way of actually looking at this card. Yeah? So he might be pretending to be one thing when actively being something else. Maybe he's an actor. So what's going on might be not what we think. But because of this, we need extra information. And that's why you will need to use more than one card. So on Tuesdays, folks, this is where we start doing tarot twists and combining cards and looking at how we stick with the Seven of Swords, but we fuse it with the major arcana to find out what's going on. We can't do a full spread. That's not what I'm here for. That's what the courses teach you. But in that time together, you can get started and get going. And as I said, hopefully you can riff on that. Yeah, I never thought of being an actor. Stage cards. Yeah, look, if you look, trickery, absolutely what it's about. And it's ducking and diving, you know, a bit like turning around and going, you know what, I'm going to go and see a group, but I'm a singer and I'm going to watch them and applaud them and I'm going to really give them a pat on the back and they've got a great sort of audience. Then I'm going to say, you know what, any chance of an open microphone? Could I do a number with you? Knowing you've rehearsed so that you're going to get seen and you're playing with your heroes or whatever it is. That's the kind of, that's clever. That's the kind of thing. Or you're acting or something like that. But yes, what if the whole thing is just a stage? I think you're confused. I've got someone asking here, I don't want to ignore. Arjun, sorry darling, we're not doing a tarot reading for people. We are talking about the tarot card. So I'm taking questions about what this card means if you are learning it or if you're interested in developing tarot. I think you are asking, could you have a reading? That's not what I'm here to do. Sorry, darling. If I'm wrong, correct me. So yeah, it's really important that we are looking at it in a different light. And maybe the whole thing's a stage. And if we look at the outfit, might make you think he's an actor in the theatre or the carnival where they pull down the scene behind, like my green screen behind me. Don't want to see plain white wall, do you? You might. If anyone ever wants to see behind the scenes, I think, yeah, this is a beautiful studio. But he wants to look at wires and lights plugged in. I'm sure you might like to see it, but it can spoil the magic, can't it? And I want you to feel calm, that you can concentrate. I set this up so it's like morning breakfast television, where we could just have a little time before we start our day, a little something for us to indulge in what we love, tarot. This man is walking around, sneaking out of a military camp on tiptoes so that no one can hear him. And in the background, we've got these tents on the army camp. Is he the enemy? Probably. And he's just helped himself to 5 swords. Or maybe he's not stolen them. Maybe they were rightfully his in the first place. We don't know, do we? So we need to know more. And that's why in the courses I was saying, put out more cards. When I was on the platform where we were providing readers with work, and we had 250 psychics working with me, 24/7, it's still there. I just went off to do more teaching like this, and I wanted to grow in a different area rather than just actually taking calls and helping readers that were perhaps a bit too busy to be helped, really. It's like when I'm working, and of course they are. You should have a background with rain when it rains. Yeah, it's beautifully soothing. Go and listen to Medwin Goodall, Zoe. He's got some fabulous sort of background rain music. But yeah, going back to this card, he's just taking these 5 swords. And I say to you that readers, really and truly, the biggest mistake they made and didn't get the job working for us at the time, we'd always say to them, why don't you go and improve and come back? It's not, we're too big for our britches. You're not going to get the work. I'm not taking you on, knowing that we are a platform that likes people to have long calls. Minimum was 20 minutes. So there's no point taking you on if you're not going to be able to do that, because it's not right for anybody, is it? It's not right for you, whatever. And they go, oh gosh, what can I do? Let's put out more cards. Oh, I'm using a 3-card spread. That's fine. You don't want to stay like that. If you are wanting to actually make a business, you've got to give it more. And you know what? The more you put out, the more you'll actually get. People say, oh, how can I do that? Go and look at some of the videos I made just on Sagittarius or Aries. I did all of the star signs, my older videos, and you will see the spread, and you will see where I am jumping from place to place, because it's all out there. All right? Where was I? So there may be the swords, but this is, he's got 5 of them, and maybe there are 5 swords in the 5 of swords. But he left the other 2 behind, didn't he? Because maybe he intends to go back for them. But really, we're talking about the fact that it's indecision, as in, and maybe calling a truce, which is what the 2 of swords can mean. So maybe that's why. And he looks cunning, doesn't he? We don't think that anyone in the camp is aware of his presence, because we can't see any of the soldiers coming at him. He's just been really smart and clever, isn't he? And he's in plain sight. He's very resourceful and very manipulative. Mind games, obviously, using his mind and his sharp wits. Yeah. The sky being that deep yellow suggests he's using his intellect and logic also, and his reason to sneak about unnoticed. So maybe he's stealing their weapons, maybe he's stealing their ideas, maybe he's stealing their plans or their resources, all for himself. Maybe he's playing them at their own game. Maybe they were mean to him, we don't know. And that's why more cards, yeah? And this is the card, I would like to say this to you. It's a card of, don't forget to watch your back. Be on your guard, yeah? So it's one of those things where, you know, we think it's mind games, don't we? And it's all part and the parcel of everyday life. And you might go, oh, this isn't very spiritual. You've just got to be shrewd, and you've got to turn around and go, what's the best outcome here? And so you've got to be resourceful and think on your feet, outsmart your opponent or your competitor, especially if it's like in some sort of sports. There's times when we have to get into someone else's head to find out what makes them tick. Sports people do that all the time. If they didn't, they wouldn't stand a chance to outbeat or overturn their opponent and gain success. They spend ages getting to know their opponent by watching, analysing their tactics, so that they can go out and play the same psychological game. You might see it as being, oh, it's a bit ahead of me and I don't know what to do. If you've suffered a defeat, you've got to disempower them and grab all of your own swords. Don't underestimate you. All right? Don't let your guard down. You might need to just make a comeback at them and get the upper hand. Again, that's a really good to remember with this card. Gaining the upper hand often comes up, and striking before they wake up, going in at dawn like the police do. They do a raid, don't they, while people are, oh, what, I've just woken up. That's the idea. So it's strategies, game plans. Attack them while they're on their blind side, as it were. They won't see it coming, and you won't believe you've got it in you. So it's a time to use your head and think on your feet. And maybe, yeah, good, excellent. Man cannot carry all of those swords, but he might be planning to come back for them later. He might be not too concerned because he believes he's got the important ones. And it's about going into that point of it's all about progress, and it's all about not giving up, keep going. You might need to change tactics. So if something's not working, play them at their own game. Remember what I said about sports people, using your initiative. Analyze what's their strategy, get inside their mindset, what's their Achilles heel, as it were. Finding another way to get what you might need or involve. Yeah, make it look like it's all theatre. Why? Because that's part of it, isn't it? He's hiding in plain sight. Yeah? It's being resourceful, being flexible, and being prepared to make those shrewd moves. And it's all to do with how we are thinking. And this is also, keep your cards close to your chest. I know we're talking about tarot cards, but that's the saying, isn't it? Keep your strategies close. Don't reveal everything or anything to those around you. Don't trust people with that information. Rely on yourself right now and be self-sufficient as much as you can be. And if you've got a little bit of a strategy or a secret, the less people that know, the better. It might be misconstrued or misinterpreted, or you might be betrayed by people. You know how people can be. It can be a card of lies and underhand behaviour, but it's much more complex than that. And it's about opening your mind and observing closely what's happening around and who, what, and how it's all involved. And it's bringing a message. Know your friends, but know your enemies better. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Good. Take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't. But good to have everything, all schools of thought on this, and then you are in a place to actually not read that card like people do and go, you're being cheated on. Oh, not nice. People cannot unhear that. You have cast it out in their mind. Much better to go, ooh, tactics. Yeah? Tactics. You gotta be a smarty pants here. You know, beat them at their own game. Look at their tactics. If you were going to go in the competition, you'd be looking for what's their weakness. Let's watch, let's get in the zone, let's work it out, let's play them at that game. Don't think of it as in somebody slaps you, you slap them back. That's not what we're saying at all. What we are saying is if somebody makes you go, boom, hang on a minute, I'm going to outwit you, you turn around and go, I can use a strategy to see if my mental strength can outwit you in some way so that I am not going to end up being the doormat. In a way, you mustn't get overwhelmed by what this card means, but it really is. I've heard so many people saying you've been cheated on and this and this. Yes, it can mean that, but you have got to see so many more things going on than that. This is a beautiful card telling us, do you know what? Sometimes you've got to be in it to win it. And therefore, you've got to look at the strategy and go, think outside the box. This is what I'm going to do. And as Passionate Saggy said earlier on, she said it is a card of trickery, yeah, but she's saying this, being strategic. Absolutely spot on. Folks, that's an hour, and sorry about the rain. Always comes, doesn't it, when I am teaching tarot. I will say good night to you all. And for those watching on Twitch, remember you probably don't get notified, and Twitch sometimes goes from one server to the next, which means I don't know where it's going out. Jump onto YouTube. As I say, it's not about the subscribers, doesn't matter to me one iota, been on there for years, whatever. Just know that on YouTube, it's a search engine when you can find a lesson on the cards that we are doing. So eventually all 78 cards will be on there. And at the moment we're not doing bad. Yeah? Oh, I will see you next time. Thank you so much. It's great. Love having you along. Love your questions. That's really fabulous. Oh, we need to come on Salomon's Tea Time. Sometimes Passionate Saggy comes on. Thank you so much for that, Passionate Saggy. Always a pleasure too. So much fun. And exploring tarot, my beloved tarot. And always learning myself. And great to meet new people and for us to discuss things. And I like about my followers, as in on YouTube, they are, and Facebook and Twitch, they are always very flexible and not rigid or argumentative in any way. Thanks, Connected After, along with you. Oh, it's fabulous. Thank you, nice to meet you. So yeah, I've just got people that are, not everybody knows everything. We're not here to argue. We're here to discuss and go, maybe, yeah, take that. No, that doesn't fit. This is what it's all about. It's just about having all of those ingredients and going, no arguments about it. Let's just take it, see where it goes and go, that, I really like that. That I'll remember. That fits with me. Something will go, and then you can just go off and riff off it yourself, like jamming. Play a couple of notes, and then before you know it, you've got a band playing in time. Yeah? Perfect. All right. Oh, bless you. Thank you so much indeed. Bit different, aren't I? Bit, I don't know, quintessential English. Yeah, we'll talk about pet astrology coming up on the website. If anybody would like to ever look at their furry friends, we have Pet Astrology, a little report where you can get birth details of your beloved pets. But we'll talk about that a little bit more over the next coming weeks. So until next time, everybody, go and have a look at the website. There's a lot going on there. There's PDFs on there. There's blogs on there. Today's blog. Oh yeah, I read for pets all the time with the tarot, but we've got pet reports. Yep, you would really, and it's not waffle, it really isn't. Yeah, reading for pets, it's amazing. I've read for Margaret's parrots, I've read for people's fish, I used to read for Serena's menagerie, read for my own rescues, and yeah, we've now just got a lovely pet report that's very reasonable, where you can actually specifically look at your beloved pet and see the different. I've got an article blog coming up all about the twins, because I've got 2 Shih Tzus, so different in personality, all to do with the time they were born, minutes apart, and how Jack and Jill's personalities are totally different due to the time of their birth and why those planets influence their personalities and their characteristics. Yeah, do you like it, Passionate Saggy? I'm always doing it. I'm always doing it. Always. Quite often for Bella and that. You can get so much. Reincarnation, people asking, is this the... Oh yeah, do go and have a look on the website. It's all on my website. Yeah. Tags gang, laugh out loud. Yeah, absolutely. All right, time for me to go. And I'm recording a couple of videos for you as well. I'm in the process of off to do that while I've not got an astrology class this week, simply because my professor is on his happy holidays. Oh, it was a lovely reading. I so enjoy them. It's so nice. Sometimes it can be really sentimental, because sometimes we're looking at, oh, are they all right? No, they've passed over and this kind of thing. And it's like, I may not be able to get that, but we'll look at it. And you know what? You can look at it briefly. I'm not a medium, but the living ones, God, I love it. Absolutely love it. Or cats, horses, all that kind of thing. Yeah, I used to read, gosh, up until probably last year, or a show jumper. And she was Olympic standards, and that was so much fun. So, anyway, it's time for me to say ta, and I will see you on Tuesday. Oh, she's here! Welcome, welcome. Yeah, then you can go and have a look at what we've done, and it's about finding things. I suppose I dig. That's because of my ascendant being Scorpio, and it's all in the houses of finding out information in very nuanced and in-depth ways. But you see, then part of it is I've got to share it. It's not just for me. Oh, great stuff. Lovely to meet you. Lovely, lovely to meet you. Selma's. Is it Selma? Am I saying that correctly? Selma's Tea Time Readings and Teachings. Love it. Absolutely love it. So, see you, I've said it about 6 times. This is a place where we talk about tarot, and most importantly, we go through one card on a Thursday thoroughly, so that you know the most important aspects of the card that we're looking at. An interesting one, the 7 of Swords. If you know a little bit about tarot, you would probably know that this is a card where most people say it's a bit of a sneaky card.